Welcome folks, welcome to Rocky's Car Care. It's going to be a new series that I'm introducing on my channel, and what it's going to be about is helping you and teaching you how to maintain your own car. And we'll progress with from the easiest stuff rather to the more experienced kind of a thing that let's say a mechanic might be delving in, but we'll leave that for later down the road. And I'll be numbering them starting with number 1. And I'll even give you an episode to start with. So here we go. What you see in front of you is an air cleaner housing off a mid-90s General Motors minivan. And I'll explain how it operates before I actually open it up and show you how to check the actual filter that filters the dirt out of the air before it starts into your engine. So here what you see, this is the actual view you'll see. Open the hood of the minivan. And this will be sitting right in the middle and near the front. And right here, what you see here is the intake air. It's in underneath the hood and just above the grill of the vehicle. That's where the air enters. So the engine's got something to mix with the fuel to burn to make the combustion to make your engine work and give you some power. So the air enters there, and it actually goes into the bottom of the air box. We'll call it an air box. It looks like a lunch kit. But it actually goes into the bottom of this, and this separates in two halves. I'll be showing you that in a minute. It goes through the bottom of the filter, which can fool you when you first look at the top of one of these when you open it up because it looks clean. And then it travels into the upper half through, should I say, it goes through the filter, filters out the dirt stays or drops to the bottom. If it doesn't stick to the filter, then it'll stay in the bottom half of the air cleaner housing. And then from there, the clean air is on the top. Let's orient this correctly now. Okay, there's the top right here, and after the air is cleaned through the filter, which I'll be opening up and showing you, it travels up in here, and then the clean air comes out here, out of this opening in the top here. See, there's a nice big hole there. It's just about 4 inches in diameter, I guess. And you'll notice there's another little pipe, kind of a fitting on here too. There's another hose here, a rubber hose about 3/4 inch on the inside diameter, that provides fresh air for the positive crankcase ventilation, which goes usually through one head valve cover on the engine head on one side, and clean air goes through the engine down into the oil pan and gets pulled up out the other side and through what they call the positive crankcase ventilation valve, and it gets burned in with the fuel air mixture, reburns kind of a thing. But as for the main air that the engine's consuming while you're driving it, whether you're going slow or fast, comes through here. And with that, I'll flip it this way to get that other piece out of the way. And there's I believe it's almost a rubbery plastic hose that goes on here. Like I say, it's almost 4 inches on the inside diameter, and it's maybe 10 inches or a foot long, and then it connects to the intake manifold, or in the case of this being fuel injection, they probably call it an air plenum, or just a plenum for short. So that feeds the clean air into the engine. Because if you run it without an air filter, say, you got dirty air going in there, well, your engine will wear 100 times faster. Your engine will wear out really quick, in other words, because of all the dust and debris going around inside your engine, scoring up, pistons and cylinder walls and what have you. So now that you know how this thing functions, you can call it an air box. But this is the actual view you'll see when you come up to it. Standing in front of there, you're almost 6 feet tall, standing in front of the vehicle, and it's like a lunch kit. It works very, very similar. There's 2 clips. They're kind of latched in there. They're spring loaded, and you just give them a flip, and then the upper half, it just opens up like a clamshell. The thing is, when that intake hose to the air plenum is connected here, it's pretty hard to bend this and pivot it back. The bottom of this air cleaner housing is actually fixed right onto the vehicle itself, on top of the air cleaner fan shroud, or not the air cleaner, but the fan shroud for the radiator there. You'll notice in the bottom here, there's 3 holes. One of the rubber grommets, it actually stayed with the vehicle. These 2, when I pulled it off, they stuck with the air cleaner housing. So this just basically gets pushed on, and the fit that's in there with the pins that are in the vehicle secure this to the vehicle, and then there's another pin here for the air intake that secures it to the top of the vehicle there underneath the hood. So the bottom half is always stationary. Now, like I say, to get it to filter, you just open it up. There's these two clips on here, probably stainless steel because I don't see any rust on it. You just open it from the bottom, you flip it up and out of the way. Same with this side, flip it, and then you get a lunch kit kind of an affair, opening it up. The thing is when you open this one, like I say, with the rest of the hard rubber plastic hose, it's a hard rubber, I guess. It's hard to tilt this back, but you can do it. And then you just basically, now I'll give you the overhead view as I open this. You open it up like so, and then you'd have to pull it forward. I'll explain why. This actually sits on top of the back half of the air filter itself. There's these little fingers that go into corresponding slots in the back of this particular air cleaner housing, and you can see them right there, just in behind the filter. I'll give you a better view in a second when I get the filter out. But anyways, there's the top of the air box. That's the clean air side. That after the air is processed and cleaned out by the filter, the clean air goes shooting through here, and like I say, into the air plenum on top of the fuel injected engine. Okay, let's just put that aside for a minute. Just reorient that so when we put it back together. Okay, here's the filter cartridge. Like you can see there, there's a metal screen on here to give it support so it doesn't get drawn through. And you'll notice there's white pleats, if you will. And that's the clean side. So when you open this thing up, this is what you'll see in front of you if you have this style of air cleaner and filter assembly. It looks clean. Oh geez, I better put the top back on. That looks brand new. Well, hold on a minute. Let's take a look at the other side. Remember, the bottom half of this air cleaner housing is the dirty side. Okay, so we flip this over, and now look at this. This one's it's still usable, but you can see it's got, depending on the lighting and how it's going to hit that, you can see it's sort of like got a dirty tinge to it there. It's a darkish color. It's like a dark gray, not quite black. So to check these, just run your thumb along and have a look in between these pleats. Now the pleats, they're about a good inch deep. Okay, so it's like, it looks like an oversized toothbrush in some ways. So you can just bend it. These things are pretty pliable. This is the seal half here on the top, and the top of the air cleaner housing, it clamps on top of this rubber seal that's around the perimeter of the top of this, and it compresses this seal between the top and the bottom housing and creates the seal so no dirt can get into the clean side of the air intake. So this is how you check this style. You have to take it out, you have to turn it over, and you have to look in there. You can bend, if it's a bendable type, like if it's rubber like this, you can bend it a bit, but some of them might be steel reinforced around the perimeter, so you wouldn't bend that tight. You just simply pull your thumb along there and look in between the pleats. Now with the fuel injected engine, you can get away with just a bit more dirt in there, because with fuel injection, it will automatically change the air-fuel ratio, so it can compensate with the lack of air going in there. Still, it's always best to put a clean air filter in. Take a look at these things, say every 6 months at least. What I like to do is, because I'm in Canada, we get snow here sometimes in the winter, and what I do is I do it spring, and at the very least fall before the weather gets too cold, and you don't want to be working out in snow and ice, so check this at least twice a year. And when it starts to get dirty, it's a simple matter of going to the automotive parts store and buying the exact same one. You can take your old one with you, but you got to remember not to run your engine without it. Okay? You could actually do this, take this out in the parking lot of the auto parts place, but also what you can do is take a tape measure and measure this thing. Okay? The length, the width, and also the height. And most of you probably got a smartphone or some kind of a phone with a camera in it. Another thing you can do is take a picture of it, as well as if you see a serial number, there's a stamping here on this one. Most parts places, the better ones, will have places they can look up on their computer for your particular vehicle. So make sure you know what engine you have in your vehicle, and as well as what vehicle it is, and let the guy know. And I always usually keep an extra one of these around, even if I'm not going to reuse it. So if I need to compare it at the parts store, I can take an old one with me while still leaving the one that's still usable in the air cleaner housing. So you don't never want to run an engine without an air filter in it. Okay. So there's the basics on air filters. The cleaner the better. I'll just mention this now. I'll be doing one about a carbureted vehicle and itself air filter after this video. And with the carburetor, unless it's got some kind of a feedback system with an oxygen sensor in its circuitry, which will adjust the fuel-air mixture, with a regular carbureted vehicle, you let these go too dirty, restricts the airflow, and the carburetor will be administering too much fuel as compared to air. You'll be running rich. You might even see a bit of smoke coming out of your tailpipe. Your mileage will suffer terribly. You won't be very efficient. And so yeah, with a carbureted vehicle, it's even more important to keep these things clean. But this one's still usable. You can see, you just have to open it up and look inside there. Sometimes the dirt is just on the very tip of this, I'll turn it this way now, on the very tip here. So you want to open it up there, but don't break it. And look down in there and just see what you got for colors. Okay? So whatever color that that filter happens to be, like I say, they also make these in a light tan or yellowish light tan or light brown color, if you will. Look at the top, depending on your system. In this particular one, you look at the top and there's the color you're looking for, because that's the clean air side, and on the bottom, that's where you do your comparing. So you just have a look-see in there, and if you see that it's fully coated with any kind of dust or anything, usually don't want to bang these clean or blow them clean. It's best just to toss them. They're only, I guess, about $5 or $10, which is it's a worthwhile investment for the longevity of your engine, how long it'll last, in other words, and also fuel economy to a certain extent, even with a fuel-injected vehicle. You'll definitely get more power if you're traveling highway. So don't neglect this. It's hidden. For people that don't know much about cars, they might just think, I'll just keep running it until something gives me trouble. But for the $5 or $10 and the few minutes it takes to change it, it's a worthwhile investment. It's good for your engine. I mean, you wouldn't want to go through life with your nose plugged. Same thing with your engine. Okay? So in order to reassemble this, it's just a matter of a vacuum cleaner works good if you got too much debris in the dirty half of your air cleaner housing. Depends on your setup. You might have a Honda, Toyota. You might have done an upgrade with the cone-shaped filter for a cold air inlet or whatever, but the box itself and any other passages that feed your engine air, if you see, like in here, you can see there's quite a bit of debris in there. What I would normally do is get a vacuum cleaner and just, you know, draw all that out of there and clean it, or if you have a little brush and some paper towel, get as much as you can out of there. Otherwise, that's with it stationary in the vehicle. Okay, so I vacuumed this out, pretend-wise. I got my new air filter element, so it's just a matter, it's just so simple with these ones. You just drop them in there. That part of it's done. Now the trick here is I was going to show you these, where these fit in, these slots here. You have to line up with this particular model. These have to go into there. Now with the filter in place and that rubber gasket, so to speak, around the perimeter, you have to sort of jam it, and got to be careful because it can tear this rubber seal. You kind of got to lift up hard on it with the with this in place, because it wants to push this up, and it has to be a press fit, because when I put this upper housing on there and I clamp it with those two stainless steel clamps, snap clamp things here, it squishes this and makes the seal so, like I say, the clean air stays on top of this filter and the dirty stuff stays down below it. Okay, so this is much easier on the workbench without this without that 4-inch hard rubber hose going to the air plenum on the intake there. So that's all there is to it. You put your new cartridge element in there, make sure you got the right one, and then you basically, for this particular model, it's very simple. You just have to push it down, make sure it's fitting all the way around, and it's not you know, showing that it's not sealed all the way around. And if you can get them close to the clamps without too much pressure, you know you're good to go. And it's just a matter of click, click, and that's it. Close the hood and you're on your way. Okay, there's the opening video for this series. Going to call it Rocky's Car Care, a nice easy one to remember. So check in once in a while. I'm going to add to this series as parts and pieces come along and I get the time. So enjoy, folks. Take care. Have yourself a nice day, and bye for now.